Hi there, welcome to day 59 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today we're talking about our final day on confidence. Confidence is a constant practice. We need to daily recommit to building our confidence, focusing on being a confident, powerful version of ourselves. It's not a destination. Sometimes we think people are just born confident or not. Absolutely not true. Confidence is a skill that we develop by choosing to develop it, choosing to practice it every single day. We've talked about a bunch of confidence topics this month. And what we want to do is we want to remember to reflect on recent criticism or, I'm looking at and thinking about the wrong thing. We need to remember to, and with my granddaughters for a couple of days, and I'm going to be with them a few more days on my own. And I forgot, when you're younger and you have kids, you've got a lot more energy. The older I get, the more I realize I love their energy because it keeps me going. But sometimes it's absolutely positively exhausting. We were up at, 3:30, 4 o'clock this morning because the little one doesn't feel good. And so finally got her back to bed so I could get cleaned up and make my videos this morning. So today we're talking about confidence, all about confidence. And guess what? When you've had enough sleep, you feel a lot more confident than when you have not had enough sleep. So we're going to reflect today on how far have we come from the 1st of February when we first, or the 1st of the month, whenever you're happening to do this challenge. How far have you come in the last 27, 28 days in terms of feeling more confident about your pricing, feeling more confident about showing up, speaking up, being yourself, taking up space in whatever environment that you're in, because we all have a reason to exist and we all have a right to exist and we all deserve to feel good about who we are and the things that we're great at, and just kind of ignore the things that we're not so good at, unless of course they harm other people, and then we should probably fix those things. So today, reflect on this month and the confidence practices that made you feel the best and have the biggest difference in your life. All of us have those. I know that I think some of the most important confidence practices for me are just reflecting on my self-talk. I don't know about you, but I have grown up and grew up with a very big negative voice in my head, not due to anything anybody did on purpose or intentionally. At least I don't think so. But because that's how people around me tended to be. I had a super optimistic father. My mom, not so much. And she's alive and kicking today and awesome. But she definitely grew up with the influence of her parents, who were both probably the most amazing couple and the amazing, most kind, generous, fantastic people I've ever met. But we all just repeat what we learned as patterns and as children, and that perpetuates unless somewhere along the line we say, whoa, stop, hold the phone. I understand where this came from. I understand how I behaved this way up until now. But now that I know better, I can, of course, do better. And I can show up in the world in a much more personally powerful, confident way. I love the idea of personal power, and that we all need to remember that we have it and take it back and use it appropriately, right? Power in any situation needs to be used and wielded appropriately. That means if it's to improve us, great. If it's to harm other people, NFW, right? I actually learned that from my very optimistic father. That was one of his responses on Post-it notes in the very early days of the Post-it note invention. He actually was a 3M lifer, they call them. So today, reflect on this month, see what practices worked well for you and made you feel empowered, and then carry those forward with you into the rest of this year, right? Because every day we're practicing doing a little thing that makes us a better human being. Guess what? The things that work really, really well for you and give you the best benefit should be added somehow to your daily routine. That's kind of been my strategy for probably my entire life. I would learn something, and if it worked out well for me, I would do it again and again and again and again, apply it in different situations, test it out, until I made it my own and part of my own thing. It's like, I laughed when people came out with all these morning routine books, because I'm like, well, isn't that just how you live your life? That's what I've been doing since I was, a teenager. And part of it was because I realized at a pretty young age that, and it was before the days of all these diagnoses of ADHD and all those things. But I just realized in about 3rd grade, 4th grade, my brain worked differently. and that I was going to have to be the one to figure out how to use my brain to get the things that I wanted and my mind to get the things I wanted out of my life, because the school system wasn't equipped to handle a kid like me. Usually, anybody that thought differently went into special education back in the day when I was in school. And so I was way too special for special ed. But that was before the days of the gifted programs as well, too. So I think education knows more than it did back then, but is failing epically in many, many ways. A lot of the kids that need extra help and support, or a lot of the kids that need more challenges. Oh, I'm digressing. So I would encourage you to schedule a couple of those things that really boost your confidence and make you feel better into either your daily or your weekly or your monthly routines. I don't know about you, but I have routines for all those things, mainly because my brain works, I know, differently, as well as I am these days legally blind. So I have to be more structured and intentional in the way I do things than I could be in my 20s, 30s, 40s, even, not my 50s. My 50s was drastic change decade. So schedule them in. And then if you need tools, just ask me. I don't talk about tools very much. I think about them every day because I use them. But there are so many different tools and things that you can use to encourage yourself to remember confidence, to do the things. I use my phone a lot to set alarms and reminders and things on it so that I do the things I want to do intentionally every single day. Otherwise, would I forget to do them? Absolutely, positively, I would forget to do them. It's why I encourage you to write things down. Even though I can't really see to read my own notes, guess what? I write things down every single day. I journal every single day as we're doing this challenge, as I'm preparing for it. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh, I forgot about this. I forgot about that. What about this? What about that? This is a great question to ask ourselves. So speaking of reflective questions, let's talk about a couple of them. And then I'll let you in on a secret. I always like to save it to the end of the video to see who watches, what we're going to be covering starting on tomorrow. First thing, bright and early. We're on to a new topic, a new part of our 9-part life framework, right? Maybe I should clean these graphics up this year. Vote in the comments below. Say, look more professional, clean up your graphics, change your background, brand, or do some of the things that the gurus all tell us to do. Probably not going to. I will do it, but I always do everything in my own sweet time. So, sneak a coffee. Ask yourself today, as this end of the month thing, how am I different now, today, the 28th? It happens to be the 28th day of this month's challenge because it's a short month. Sometimes different parts of the challenge get the February short and dry. And it's usually been relationships, because February is a very relationship-laden month for most people. So how are you different with respect to confidence between today and how you were when we just first started talking about this? Which confidence activities, which confidence practices are something that you want to add to your routine and that will help you going forward? Because guess what? We need confidence in every area and aspect of our life. Absolutely, positively, every single one. Think back on your life. And we did not do it this month. I need to build some certain tools in that I like to talk about every month. One is the lifeline exercise. I want to make sure we talk about that every month with respect to each area and aspect of our life. So probably next month, we will actually on our lifeline plot confidence as well as financial. We're going into finances next month and talking about financial health and well-being. But today, I'd like you, as an engagement activity and as a way to commit to yourself, share in the comments below one win that you had this month with respect to your personal confidence. Maybe you're like me and you actually got over your fear of DMing, direct messaging people, and you direct messaged some people. Maybe you just direct messaged one person. Maybe you just called or talked to one person that was a little bit out of your comfort zone. But share one of those wins in the comments below so we can support one another, cheer one another on, and encourage each other to create the confidence that we need, want, and desire in every area and aspect of our life. All right, any questions about this? Hit me up and ask, because you can always ask me anything, any time of year, but we're going to be switching gears from confidence to financial health and well-being and talk about, we had a lot of topics in finances, right? There isn't a month long enough, although next month has 31 days, so we get an extra day. I always think of it an extra day. I always think of each month or each focus area as 28 days. And then any extra days in that month are just bonus days. All right. That's it. Have an awesome day. If I can help you, ask. Otherwise, I will, of course, be with you tomorrow.